Hello and welcome to Exponential Potential. We are in for another gorgeous topic and another gorgeous month. And talking of gorgeous, today I am joined by the very gorgeous Jennifer Evers, aka Zen Jen. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Claire. Thank you. Gorgeous. Is gorgeous going to be our topic this month? This
Oh,
episode. Well, actually,
oh,
it is, but it is a gorgeous topic, isn't it?
it is a gorgeous
Yeah.
topic.
What are we talking about?
So, um, so we were thinking about the topic of this month, and the theme of spirituality comes through super strongly. And if I'm looking out the window, as you can see right now, if you're watching, the light is really low. It's crisp here today. Kind of, just get a sense of being part of some awesome nature at the moment. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about spirituality.
Yes, and I think also we've got the winter solstice coming up on the 21st, which is a very magical time. And of course, the holidays, whatever it is you believe in. There's a lot of religions that have a lot of different holidays this time of year. Certainly, we celebrate Christmas. I have plenty of friends, they celebrate Hanukkah, and then there's all sorts, and then there's the I'm not sure actually if there's a Hindu
Or we've
god
just
or
come
gods. I know we've
out
just
from
had
Diwali, haven't we?
Diwali. Yeah, I know
Mm,
we've just had Diwali. I'm not sure if there's another one that comes up around this time as well. Because what I've noticed with religion is the holidays are quite close to each other, and the belief of it. This is a nice sort of link in. The belief, um, the sort of all we all have different beliefs, and we might have religious beliefs, we might have spiritual beliefs, and we'll talk about what that means in a moment. But what do we actually, what's our topic of this month, of this episode? It's about spirituality
so it's
and
yeah, so we're talking
harnessing.
about
Mm,
we're talking about spirituality throughout this month, and I think it's a really important time of year to cover this. And
mm,
today, you're going to be guiding us through how the power of spirituality can create more flow, harmony, and alignment. So some really practical tools
mm.
for exercising something that's quite abstract and esoteric for people. No challenge.
Yeah, it's not a tangible thing that you can get hold of, but it can be really practical. And I think some people, not everybody, and spirituality is becoming more and more mainstream now. We don't have to hide everything. I certainly don't share all my beliefs with everybody I meet or my family, but for me it's a way, and I'll talk about a bit more in detail about what spirituality is, but for me it's really helped me create a life that is in alignment, that is full of flow and ease and grace and love. And it's not fluffy. I've seen the results of how it's impacted my life, and I think what I really want to talk about in this episode especially is how it helping people become more aware of how it can create a better, easier life for you,
Yeah.
and really, let go of the struggles. So there's so many benefits to it, which is what we want to get into in this episode.
Yeah. So for many of our listeners, they might be familiar with things like the Wheel of Life, and that's a coaching tool, and you score where you are against a number of different dimensions. So you might score how you're feeling in terms of physical or relationships or work, and then there's always that tricky branch that says spirituality. It's like, okay, so let's unpack that to begin with. What is spirituality?
For me, and it's everybody's unique and everybody's different. and everybody has a different take on what spirituality is. But I think from taking it from a really simplistic point of view, for me, and a lot of my clients, it was certainly a journey of personal self-discovery, going within and connecting with the deeper aspects of ourselves, of our soul, of our purpose, and having a belief that there's more to life, that we are, I personally truly believe we are infinite beings. We are beings of love and light. Some of us have forgotten what that is. But we were born to be, we were born beings of light, and we are an infinite being in a body on this planet. So, whether you feel that's a soul, whether you feel that's a form of energy, and that energy, that soul does not die. So, in a nutshell, that's what I feel, and that we have a higher purpose than just doing our day-to-day, same day, same stuff, different day, kind of in the rat race and things like that. It's when you take a step back and you start asking yourself those deeper questions. Why am I here? What purpose do I serve? Why are we all here? So it's about believing in something that's bigger than us, whether that's source energy, whether that's infinite wisdom, gods and goddesses, God, Allah, whoever it might be. There's a higher, and I'm not putting a higher as in putting somebody on a pedestal, higher power, because that power, in my belief, and that may or may not resonate with you, is that power is within us, and we have access to that power. Whereas religion is bound by dogmas, and it for me, growing up, I grew up a Catholic, and I see people, my mum even, giving their power away to God or to the church, let's say, and not living in fear, but you think of evangelicists, the fear of God is literally put into you. No, I'm not sure if actually that's the right religion I'm talking about, but there are certain religions where the fear of God is put into you. And we all, Judgment Day, that was a real, we think we're being judged all the time. But for me, God or source is a being of love and light and unconditional love.
So in a way, are you saying that religion presents an interpretation of spirituality? It's a lens, and it's tried to capture and understand what is essentially spirituality through a set of rules, a set of dogmas, a set of books and interpretations. But
yes.
But what I like about how we accidentally started the conversation was we were looking at how many different religions coalesce their holidays around this time of year. Many different religions have very similar elements, but call them different things. And it's almost like not a competition, but there's a friction between how different religions see some of the same core aspects.
And that is gleaned from ancient beliefs. Like, let's take paganism, for example. I live in Italy and the UK, and paganism is hugely about Mother Nature and following the natural cycle, the natural rhythms of nature. And there's also rituals and things involved in that. However, the way that Christianity came about, and the way that this whole region was pagan, and so they just copied the holidays. So winter solstice is December 21st, and then we celebrate the birth of Christ on the 25th. You know, you look at all the different holidays and things, and there's a lot of similarities. So that it was one of the things is it was easier for them to then help create, help transfer, if you like, from paganism to Christianity. But going back to spirituality, it's you use your own intuition, your own, what resonates with you, what feels right for you.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I believe it really starts with a journey of personal self-discovery, and going deep within yourself. And because we all have the answers, but we might need some guidance around that. And,
Mm.
you know, connecting to the energies around us, connecting into our intuition, connecting into other guides, you know, those to really help us be present, bring us the answers.
Yeah.
Our whole body, actually, if we think of our whole body is like an antenna, and we're constantly picking up signals and energies.
Yeah, for sure. You can't, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's
You
it's
can't see
not
love.
there.
You can't see love, can you? You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can express it.
Yeah.
But it also brings, you know, spirituality for me is it also brings that connectedness to fellow humans, to nature, to the universe, to source, which brings a deep, deep, deep inner sense of peace and harmony when you're in there, when you're feeling that connection, and a deep, deep sense of expansiveness.
So, you know, what elements are there for you of spirituality then?
I think there's certainly a lot in there. When people talk about spirituality, they don't automatically go to, well, it's about my own personal self-discovery journey and who I truly am and why I'm here, what's my purpose, what's my soul purpose. There are other elements of that, and I think a lot of people might immediately think of sort of more metaphysical type things like mediums, psychics, people that make a living from channeling information, you know, seances, as I say, mediums that are able to give you advice and guidance through whether they're using tarot cards or a crystal ball, or they're just standing, you know, they just can feel things coming through them. So there's that element. And we all have some of those abilities where we, as I said, we are antennas. So we are constantly picking up energy. And that could be energy from past loved ones. That could be energy from our own guides. You know, people connecting with the angels. That's another whole element about angel energy. And then there's people that believe in, or, you know, we've got past life information. Some people believe that we've lived here and been here hundreds of times. And people use past life regression to heal what's going on today. And there's energy healing and chakras. And as I say, using tarot cards or oracle cards, meditation. And then there's the more, you know, what sort of star seeds, if maybe not many people have heard of star seeds, but star seeds is based on where we were, where we came from, and who we were before we came to this planet.
Come across that.
Yes, so star seeds is kind of deeper. So there's all sorts of different levels of spirituality, and it depends on what resonates with you. I used to resonate very much with angel energy. Not so much now. It's more generic. Some people will tap into goddess energy. So there's a lot of different things out there, but for me, it's energy. It's people that have been here and have now passed and left this planet, but their energy, their thoughts, their wisdom, their knowledge through energy is still available to us. And we have, you know, for me, I have many, many different guides. And it depends on where I am in my life, which guides show up. And now I don't hear voices in my head.
But then, as you know, building on the conversation that we had last month around intuition, there are many different ways that information comes through. So, in terms of that voices in your head, you know, that would be clairaudient
Yes.
as a style. With, you know, claircognizant is
Yes.
knowing, clairvoyant is seeing, clairsentient is very much around, you know, feeling within your body. And, you know, if we take that to the conversation with guides, is that, you say you don't hear voices, how does that come about? How does that manifest?
For me, it's quite practical, because again, some people do hear voices, but when I said I don't hear voices, it was more like I don't feel that there isn't a really loud voice in my head that's talking to me. You know,
Yeah.
that could be. And it's interesting because I think quite a lot of people that were put into mental asylums were, there was a lot of things around their beliefs, and that they were hearing things and they were seeing things, but they were deemed as crazy and put away. And maybe not all of them were. But for me, it's a knowing, it's a powerful push forward. It's looking or being aware of the synchronicities around me and that are directing me a certain direction. It's a feeling. So for me, it's a feeling and a knowing. So it's clairsentient and claircognient. That's where I sit. And we talked about this, as you said, in the episode last month, all around intuition. And I highly recommend our listeners go and listen to that if you haven't already. But it's and it takes practice to know that you're being guided.
Yeah.
But you know when you're being guided because the path opens up for you, and you meet people, you have conversations, things pop up, information pops up, you feel good, you feel like you're leaning in, you feel expansive, you feel uplifted, you feel energized. So you might not know that you have guides that are guiding you. Oh, and also in your body, so we are born, we literally have stardust in our DNA. From the Big Bang, we have evolved from that, and we literally have stardust in our DNA. So we are made from the same energy that created this universe and this amazing, beautiful planet. And so we have that information. You know, we've got external guides, but we've got internal guidance systems. And that's within our cells, within our DNA.
Yeah.
And it can show itself through how we feel. So as I said, our body is an antenna. We're picking up signals from externally, but we're also got those signals internally. And every single cell in our body is guiding us. Jennifer Huff talks about this, our superpowers and our innate abilities. And every single cell is sort of 99.7 or 97.9 space in every single cell, which means that space is like a blank sheet of paper where we can create anything we want to. But we have this information within our DNA. We have this these receptors. They're actually, they're called, they're telemirrors on our DNA, and they're receptors. So they receive information, but they only receive information when we're tuned into it, when we're tapped into it, when we're aligned with that information.
But what you're describing there is a universal quality, a universal gift that transcends time. So it would make sense that in the time of the ancients, they would have similar abilities around them as much as today or in the future. So bring it back to the here and now. How do you think that spirituality can impact your personal well-being? How does it attach to life here today?
I think it involves, because of what it involves, and to tune in and to attune yourself and align yourself with that information that's around you, you have to slow down. You have to create space. So there's a lot of mindfulness involved, where it's beyond mindfulness, but purely on that basis of slowing down and creating space and being out in nature will already help quieten down your mind. And because you know, that's a big element of self-care. So when we self-care, we already feel better within ourselves. We are in a better place to cope with day to day. Going deeper than that, you have a sense of knowing that all is well. It brings you that sense of knowing. So you're in a place of, it doesn't matter if that doesn't work out, because I know that something else will show up.
So it's beyond trusting, really.
It is beyond trusting. It's beyond hope. It's beyond faith. It's beyond hope. It's beyond trust. Yes, exactly. It's a sense of knowing. And coming from, and we talk about this a lot, coming from that place of curiosity, because that just feels so much freer than holding tight to an outcome. So it's when we try and control things, when we're holding really tightly to an outcome, when we're not trusting our own decision making, or we're not believing in ourselves, those elements we don't feel worthy. Those elements create a lot of stress, struggle, pressure, and conflict in our lives. But when we start to discover who we are and go deeper into that spiritual aspect, that brings us a deep sense of knowing that all is well. And it connects us to our self-worth, because every single one of us, because we are here, we are born on this planet, we are worthy. You know, and when we come from that place of feeling worthy, we don't have to try and prove ourselves. We're not looking outside ourselves for love or validation. We're not trying to please everyone. We're not trying to get the approval of our parents or our peers or our bosses or our partners. You know, there's no need for any of that. So just by understanding who you are from a spiritual aspect underneath all those protective layers and the barriers we put up, and tapping into those guidance systems and that unconditional love and light, it just brings such a huge sense of freedom and peace, and helps us guide us on our way to what we came here to do, what we came here to be.
So how can someone begin their spiritual journey? How can they start bringing practices in, maybe dip their toe if this is an unfamiliar area? Kind of there's a lot that comes into that, both in terms of what you do practically, but also some of the barriers you might face as you start to explore this.
Yeah, I think it's a big journey. And it's not like a client of mine, I'll never forget, she says, I just want to switch on the I just want to have a light switch type thing, and I can just push it and everything's okay. That's where I want to be. It's like, well, life's not like that, unfortunately, because we are ever evolving and growing. But in terms of where to start, it's about you starting to explore, to start to become more self-aware.
Yep.
Of where you are now and where you want to be in terms of peace, harmony, alignment, you know, whether you want to attract certain things into your life. It's about knowing what you want, and then starting to explore and see what resonates with you. As I said, we're all unique, we're all different, and different things will appeal to different people. And go within to see what resonates, because angels might not resonate with you, but meditation might. Seeing, going for some reading certain books, have a look, that's a really good place to start, is start reading some books and searching on Amazon or wherever it is you might search for books, go into a bookshop. God, oh my God, who does that anymore? Actually physically go into a bookshop. I love bookshops, absolutely love them. And go into a bookshop and just see what calls to you, what you're like, oh, piques your interest. And if you're interested, go to maybe mind body spirit fairs, local mind body spirit, meet up with like-minded people, come and speak to an expert, a coach, a guide, if you want really good deep transformation and you want guidance on your spiritual journey. There is a lot of information out there that becomes very, very overwhelming. So just take your time and see what resonates, and don't believe everything I've said. See, pick things and, oh yeah, that does resonate with me, that doesn't, and just choose what fits for you. And you'll notice in your body, we have talked about this before in past episodes, about one of them was about what you want. That was quite actually in the beginning, understanding what you truly want,
what you really, really want.
What you really, really want. But see what piques your interest, notice what has you leaning in. And one of the things that I would start with doing is raising your vibration. So through meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, even simple things like waking up in the morning and sitting with gratitude. What are you grateful for? And start paying attention to things that are working for you in your life. What's working out for you, rather than focus on what isn't working out for you. Create space, slow down. You don't need to pretend everything's you don't need to go through life being happy all the time and joyful and blissful all the time, because that's actually not possible, because without contrast we would never grow and evolve. But start by focusing on what's working for you. Start by noticing things that are positive, noticing synchronicities in your life, how, meeting somebody, having a conversation, finding some information, things that just show up for you.
Well, Gabby Bernstein's got a beautiful way of describing that as driftwood. Notice the driftwood that's on the way. You're getting all of these constant little messages and affirmations that you're on the right track. But your job is to notice and pay attention.
Yes, absolutely. Noticing, observing, and kindness. And again, coming from a place of love, coming from more love and more compassion, because the more you're in that space of love, compassion, gratitude, the more you will receive. And the other element is be open to receiving that, because we're very good at shutting ourselves off because we've been hurt in the past and we don't want to be hurt again. And we're protecting ourselves, not just in relationships, but, you know, just growing up through our experiences and how we were treated or what we heard and what we saw.
Yeah.
So a good place to start is opening up your chakras. So if that resonates with you, go and look up chakras. I'm a Reiki master and I do a lot of work on healing chakras. But your third eye, which is your third chakra, and third, and your heart center. So by opening those up, and there's practical exercises you can do. You can go and see somebody that does energy work and energy healing. Come and see me. I do distant healing and energy work. And retreats that involve discovering, you know, spiritual retreats as well in Italy. So yeah, just start to explore and be open and curious.
Yeah. And if you know, if at the very least you've learned a little bit more about yourself, you've rested and created space for yourself, even if, you know, you're a skeptic, you know, those elements alone will supercharge your flow. It will supercharge your harmony. It has such a positive impact, no matter which belief system, you know, attached to. So the activities in their own right are, I want to say therapeutic, but it's not the right word. They're kind of essential, I think.
They're essential if you want to stop the struggle and you want to be more in alignment with who you are, who you came here to be, and you want to enjoy a life of joy, flow, and harmony. And I have a little cheat sheet in the description below, so it helps give you some ideas, some really practical tools of how you can start your day, how you go through your day, and really lovely evening ritual, a bedtime ritual to help you sleep, because sleep is so important. And it just helps you create more balance and feel uplifted and energized. And it's 6 steps to feeling balanced, energized, and uplifted. So that will help you raise your vibration and get you into alignment as well.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And how can people find out about the retreats, or, you know, if they want to kind of enlist you as a spiritual coach?
Yes, go to my link, ZenGen, my website, zengen.com, .com. That link is in the description as well. And feel free to reach out to me. I am creating a program, an online course, which will be really, I'm looking for people that are interested in being taking part in the pilot version. And that's about creating sustainable, fulfilling success. And this spirituality will be part of that. So if you're a female entrepreneur looking for sustainable success while living a life of balance and harmony, reach out to me, and I can, you can sign up for my newsletter and you'll be updated with information.
Oh, superb. So Jen, thank you so much for today's episode. There's been many elements that have resonated quite strongly, and as kind of as somebody who is a recovering busy person, I know I just didn't allow time to explore this, but as I've adopted more and more practices, so I've kind of really understood, the power of slowing down and connecting. So for many of the listeners, I do encourage you to explore this journey and explore the episodes this month. So for now, thank you, Jen, so much. I'll see you again really soon. Listeners, if you want to see us again, like, subscribe, share. There's a lot of content already that we've put out there. As we've mentioned, kind of links back to intuition and what you really, really want. So feel free to dive into that. But yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you keep hearing from us.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you.